Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out ST-11, Starter Deck 11, Uta. And guys, I had a lot of fun with this deck. And we are going to be talking about some budget options, so do hang on tight there. Because as is, like, the deck and the way it's actually made, for the most part, it's a little pricey, believe it or not. But there's a way to make it budget that is, you know, whenever it's budget, it's obviously not quite as good. But it still can, you can still have fun with it and take it to a locals and probably do all right while learning the mechanics of the game. So, all right, guys, so that's in this video, we are going to go over Uta. We're going to go over just the deck that I put together real quick, and we're going to watch some of my, what are they called? My, some games on the sim. Not on the ranked ladder. I still haven't had time to get on the ranked ladder. Hopefully soon I'll be able to, but I just haven't yet. So here's all, so that's on today's agenda, right? We're going to be checking out this this awesome new leader. So real quick, the list on the top is what I was running. I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. And if you buy this deck as is, like what you see on the screen right here, it's going to run you about $350 to $370 depending on shipping, handling, taxes, all that stuff. And of course, depending on what you already have. If you already have the Eustace Kids and the Namis, well, this deck's going to run you like $50. And honestly, that's another thing too, is down here I mentioned, this is a budget deck that I run for the last 3 games we're going to look at. It's only, this version is only $65, and if you can buy, and that's if you buy each card as singles. If you can buy each card, or excuse me, if you can buy the starter deck, if you can get your hands on 2 of the starter decks, they're running for about $20 a piece right now, and then you'd only need about $15 for the extra cards like Dofi, and then just 4 random 2K counters, the cheapest green 2K counters you can get your hands on. Okay, but yeah, that's about it. I'll run through the list real quick, and then we'll check out the games. So for Ezo, this is just a good 2K counter that can tap down a 4 or less when you play it. I'm only running 3 of Eustace Kid and 3 of Dofi. But then 4 Usopp, 4 Chopper, 4 Nami, 2 Frankie, the 5 cost, 4 of the 4 cost Brook, 4, what's his name, Luffy, 4 of the 4 cost Vanilla Zoro. I already talked 3 of the Dofi. 4 of the new film Uta, the 3 cost Uta, the green one. 2 Blacklight or Backlight, however it's said. 4 New Genesis, this is just a good searcher, and 4 of I'm Invincible. This is kind of the all-star of the deck, to be honest, in conjunction with the leader. And yeah, we'll talk about that as we watch the games. And in the budget deck, this is literally just 2 combined starter decks, and then add in 2 of the 10 cost Doflamingo, and 4 of the cheapest 2K counter you can find. That's a green card. Okay, and that's about it as far as like the this part of the video goes. This is just the contents of the starter deck if you want to know what's in there. It comes with 38 characters and 12 events. And like I said, at the time of me recording this video, prices do fluctuate. But at the time of me recording this video, this deck's going for about $20, guys. So definitely, pick these up if you can. Because you can order them off of TCG Player if you don't have them at your local game store. Always try to support local first, at least in my personal opinion. Then get things off tcgplayer.com or whatever website you might use. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and hop into the actual games now. I got those over here. Y'all give me just a second to set it up. And okay. So for this first game, let me go ahead and blow this up. There we go. Put it at 2x speed. This first game is going to be a mirror match, and this is running the more expensive list. This is running the list that I showed that like I said, if you buy the whole thing as is, it's like $350, $365. And there are different lists, different variations I've seen where they run more events or they run the Bartolomeo and all that good stuff. But this is the version that I run. I think it's very simplistic and it gets the job done. Okay, so I went first. Speaking of that, I'm not really sure. I think going first is better if you have Eustace Kid, because then on turn 5 you can play out the Eustace Kid and put the Dawn on him and play out a blocker and go from there. And I think you'll see that in this game. So I think going first is ideal because you also want to be pretty aggressive. So one thing that I always try to prioritize when I'm playing this deck is I always want to get my leader's effect off every turn, and sometimes I will sacrifice development or production in order to, actually I should say it like that, I will sacrifice my board development to develop my hand, if that makes sense. That's at least what I'm trying to do. And yeah, it can kind of bite you in the butt too. You know, you can whiff on the Nami search. And let me explain that real quick. Let me pause this. So he swings into my Nami, takes that out. But real quick, by the way, he used backlight to tap down my Nami so that he could take it out like that. But real quick, guys, what Nami does, the new leader, is if you attach one Dawn and you attack, you look at the top card of your deck. If it is a film type card, it goes right to your hand. Otherwise, it goes to the bottom of your deck. You don't actually get the choice to leave it on top. Unfortunately, it just goes to the bottom. So with that in mind, I don't like to run more than 10 non-film cards in the deck. Okay, so just to give a heads up on that. Okay, because the same thing with the Nami you see on the screen here, the 3-cost Searcher Nami, that's going to grab film cards. So I want to make sure I can hit like a lot of targets as much as possible. So I swing 7 into the Nami. I play out the Brook to play out another Nami and pay 1 and do the search. And notice the hand, like both of us have just insane hands at this point. Like I think we both have like 9 or 10 cards in hand. So swing 6, I go ahead and take that. And he plays out a Luffy into a Brook into a Uta. And I have the same play that I can do for the most part here. But I think I established my Eustace Kid here. Yeah, I do. So what I've noticed is when you drop down Eustace Kid, especially with that combo right there where you can play the blocker with him, you should pretty much always do it if you have at least 1 Dawn to spare to put on him. So at 9 or 10 Dawn, this is the play, guys. Like this is just a very, very powerful play. Into almost anything. Into almost anything. Blue-Black Sakazuki, it's not quite as strong because they have the strongest form of removal. But look at this. He locks down my Eustace Kid. Well, that doesn't matter to me, right? Like, I still just attach a Dawn to him, and you have to attack into him. So he just gave me a turn. Now, unfortunately, I can't play my 10-cost Doflamingo here because of how that happened. But I have a lot of other plays I can do as well. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I really need to establish the board here. I need to set up and still keep on some pressure, swing 5 at life, get a card out of hand, or take one of their life. And let's see what he does. I should have done this New Genesis first, if I'm even going to do that. Okay, and I end up not doing that. And I think right here I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to pass. And I think another thing I probably should have done there is just done the New Genesis since I had 4 Dawn active. So that was technically a play mistake for sure. He swings 10 at Eustace Kid here. I go 2K, 1K to get out of it. And I still have my blocker, so he's stuck to committing here or using a backlight out of hand like that. So let's see what he does here. I think he loads up everything on his Luffy, if I remember correctly. Yeah, loads up everything on Luffy. I'm like, oh shoot, you know, I can't realistically. I can probably block out of that, but it would cost like every card in my hand. 2, 4, 5. No, I don't think I could have gotten out of that one. Okay, so then he swings 5 at my Brook. And I actually opt to save that, and then I even opt to save my 3-cost blocker there as well. And it's like, okay, so now let's just go everything at life, and I'm actually setting up for a game here, is what I'm trying to do. I want to see if he'll tap down his blocker. He ends up not doing that, so then I swing 5 more at life. And notice I haven't used any Dawn. So I am telegraphing what I'm doing here, right? Because otherwise I would have drawn a card with Nami and drawn a card with my Uta leader. But it's like, no, I'm just going to tap down the 2 biggest characters I can here, establish the 10 cost. I've got a blocker. I stand up my Nami to save her by trashing an event from hand. That's what this Uta does, is you trash an event from your hand to stand up one of your one of your film characters. And it is a film-only character. But I think you can trash any event from your hand to stand up one of those characters. Okay, so either way, we're in a very good position here. This is not a bad position. We have 3 life to their 1. Now, I haven't drawn any I'm Invincibles, but at the same time, okay, and then I draw one right as I say that. It's like, you only have 3 cards in hand and 1 life, and I'm going to attack you like 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can attack 6 times. So realistically, there is no way out of this without giving me everything you have and all your life and all that stuff. So it's like, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll just go ahead and swing 12, where you have to block this. And he does. And then I'll just swing for 12 more after doing excuse me, I'm invincible. That's really the gas in this deck, guys, is that event right there. I'm invincible as a 3-cost to set your leader as active. So you attach a bunch of Dawn to your leader and start smashing, and you start attacking multiple times. So I let him clean up my board a little bit here, I think, because I don't really have any counter power in hand. But I had enough to save the Brook. But it's like, okay, I'm obviously going for lethal next turn, right? Like, I was going for lethal last turn, but it took his whole entire board to save him. So it's like, okay, swing 5 into my Brook here. I got to let it go. And he plays out Uta. And it's like, okay, swing 11. You have to block this. And now just load everything else up on Uta and go 14 to face. I guess maybe I should have swung for, let me pause it right there because that's that game. I guess maybe I should have just put, well, let's see. I put 1 there, so I had 9 left. Maybe I should have just swung for 11 again and leave the opportunity to draw another I'm Invincible, in case I needed to swing again. Or if I didn't draw it, I could have put 8 on Nami and swung that way. I don't know. There might have been another way to do that, but that way ended up working out just fine. And he had 2, 3, 4, 5, 5,000 power in, counter power at the end there. Okay, next game. So next game we have against a, let me go ahead and put this on 2x speed before I forget. We have a NL player here, and from my limited playtesting, I've only been playing this deck since today. Like, today was my first time playing this deck, and from my limited playtesting, it does pretty well into yellow because it can just go wide enough. And speaking of that, while this is all playing out, he got the Ohm Holy, I've got Usopp developed. I draw a Brook for my leader's effect, play out my Zoro, and technically there it might have been smarter to play out Brook into my 3-cost just to develop higher, or even going into an Usopp, but that's okay. Well, we can play it out this turn. But generally speaking, what you want to do with Uta, again, this is just from my experience, my limited experience playing this leader, you just want to go as wide as possible and just run them over and hit it with double strikes. Like, well, I'm invincible. I'm just calling that a double strike or a double attack. And what are they going to do? Like right here, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep eating cards out of your hand, and I'm going to keep drawing cards and developing my board. So I dropped out a 5-cost 7K. He can definitely, he can still Gadatsu my Usopp, and when he swings 7 into it, I'm like, okay, well, you can just have it then. I'm not going to, not trying to defend out of that. Okay. Counter out of that, Enel's coming here. I'm going to have to take this. And now in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to set up to win next turn. Because I have the double attack in my hand, right? Like, I'll be able to swing twice in my hand. So I swing 8 out of 6. I get that off the board. I play out a blocker, which plays out this, which plays out Brook, which plays out my what's her name there, Uta, the 3-cost blocker. And I'm like, okay, I'll get out of this attack for free. Let's see if he wants to, give me an extra chance here. And he swings in. I have to block this one. I have no choice. And then I count out that way. And now it's like, okay, all right, here's what's so nice about this deck. I am just going to swing at him. Let me pause it for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I'm going to swing at him 7 times for minimum 5K. And he just has to be able to deal with this. So now it's like, okay, now I'll swing 7 at you. That hits. Now I'm going to swing 7 more at you. The only thing that could save him here was a beige. And he didn't get that. So I'm like, I make sure, okay, swing 7. And then I'm going to swing 7. And then I'm going to swing 7. Right? Or I guess I should have done 8 and 8, but it didn't matter in the end. That ended up being the right call there. So, again, I had so much firepower at the end there, he just couldn't survive through all the attacks. And it looked like I was going to lose that game. Like, at least in my opinion, if I was a spectator, it looked like I was going to lose that game. Okay, so next up we have a game against Red Purple Law. Red Purple Law seems like a lot of fun right now. Because for those who don't know, I should mention this, randomly. Currently, last night, or I guess technically, I think it was this morning, technically speaking, they put out the new 1.21a, I think it is, for the sim. And you're going to be able to play on the East now with all the EB01 stuff, which is just awesome. So really cool stuff there. If you haven't downloaded that yet, make sure to go check that out. Okay, so back to the game here. My opponent is off to a incredible start. You know, the board is looking good for them. But I think I just drew the card that I needed, and that was 8-cost Eustace Kid. If I can drop an 8-cost Eustace Kid against Red Purple Law, I'm in very good position to win this game. Especially if I can get him to use up that Gordon, where he has, you know, where he won't have that access to that kind of card. Okay, so he swings 6 at me. And I'm like, okay, I don't have a 2K, so I'm just going to take this. I get another 8-cost Kid and a Dofi. Okay, so and this guy's playing very smart, where he's going to swing extremely wide. But at the same time, and he's doing that, by the way, because he knows I'm going to swing once every turn with my leader. He would rather draw the cards from his life. So, okay, I don't know if he messed up there or what. I don't know what just happened, because he should have Gordoned and then Otama'd and then hit my guy off the board with his... the Fire Fist. Or I don't know, maybe I misunderstood what he did there, but I don't think that worked out exactly the way he wanted. Okay, so in my mind here, I just have to survive. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this one. He has no Dawn active. He's already used his leader effect. He's got 3 more attacks. I have to counter out of 2 of them. There we go. That's all I needed, was the ability to counter out of 2 of them. Counter there and counter here. Because I don't want to use my blocker, but I would have if I had to. Because it's nice to have that blocker to defend my... 8-cost Kid. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to swing 5 into all your guys on the board here. This is what he didn't want to happen, by the way. This is why he did not attack the turn prior, because I was just going to do this anyway. Okay, so attacking to that. Play out, or excuse me, I don't have any card to play out, but I already have a card that's decent, you know, that's out in my 3-cost blocker. So now he has to swing for 8,000 minimum just to get an attack through to my Eustace Kid, and I have a blocker on the board. So this is trouble for him, right? This is a bad situation for him. Okay, so he tries to go in there. I block with my Uta, and now I'm in good position. Right now I'm in excellent position to win this game. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna hit your I go for life here because I do have an I'm Invincible in hand. He actually jet pistols my what's her name? Nami, but oh well, we're just going all the way in, and I was going to untap and go again. So that is, again, that's one of the best parts about this deck. It draws a lot of cards through the leader, and once you can get to the late game, you're going to be able to go for lethal with your I'm Invincibles. So you can switch on to offense in like the blink of an eye. Okay, unfortunately, this game, the Nami just left. I'm going to tell you all this right now. This deck goes very wide, so I like this deck's matchup against Nami, because you just go extremely wide against them, filling up the board, and you just run them over. Okay, he passes here, I swing, and I think he just leaves the game right here, unfortunately, because I would have really liked to continue this game. Okay, and notice I have Jinbei in my hand. So these decks going forward from here, this one. And the next 2 we're gonna watch, which is just an NL best of 3, just against a random guy on the ladder. These are with the version of the deck that is budget, and I'll show that again at the end of the video. But this is just the pure budget version of Uta. This is like a $50 deck of Uta right here. Just 2 starter decks plus Dofi and an extra 2K counter. All right. So again, I'm always trying to prioritize drawing a card with my leader. So I get a chopper there. That's nice. And I'm going to probably take a life from him here or eat up his blocker. I'll take it. Or eat up 2 cards from hand. I'll take that as well. Win-win situation here, even though I'm not developing the board. It is always good to develop your board state. Always. You know, I guess unless you know your opponent has like some type of board removal, you know, huge board clear. But generally speaking, you want to fill up the board. But in this situation, I didn't really have a good play. So I'd rather just draw a card for my leader effect and put on some pressure. Okay, do I have it on 2x speed? Sorry, guys. Speed 2x. All right, that's why I was going so slow. Sorry about that. Okay, and this guy's running something very interesting. Again, this is just a random player on the ladder. And I don't think that card's too good, that captain card there, but it is a blocker. It is a blocker for him. So I swing in for 6, he takes it, and I'm just going to develop. I'm going to play out a 4-cost Zoro here, the 4-cost vanilla 6K Zoro. And yeah, I'm feeling okay at this point, but I know he's going to, if he hasn't played anything yet on these small turns, that must mean he has Yamatos and Anels and just maybe Katakuri, just nothing but the big cards. So he gets down Gadatsu to pop my, my 4 cost. And I still, so I don't know if I should be countering out as much as I countered out this game. Like maybe I should go down to 3 first and then start countering out of damage to life. But I think it's good to stay high life against Enel, especially because later in the game he is going to be hitting hard, right? With the 7 cost Enel, with the Yamatos, potentially Katakuri, even Gadatsu Ohm, you know, like they're all going to be like 6k base later in the game. So it might have been a play mistake to counter out early, you know, because as you saw, he was able to punish me with a Gadatsu. But I think even if I took all those hits, I still would have been at 3 life. I don't know. Who knows? It's hard to say. But then that would have saved my Zoro, I guess. So again, that might have that could have very well been a play mistake. Okay, so I go ahead and develop the board here. That's all I'm trying to do. Draw a card with my leader every single turn that I can. Keep developing the board. I kept my life high early in the game, so it is starting to help me a little bit now, even though I may have lost my Zoro from it. He swings 8. I take it. He swings 7 at my 5. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't know I have 2 I'm Invincibles in hand. I don't think I revealed any on my leader search. I might have revealed 1, but I'm okay here. I'm really thinking about blocking here. That was probably the right call. Stay at 2 life because he only has 1 Dawn left. And he played the Ohm this turn, so he can't play that. Okay, so Backlight's going to be able to pop his Gadatsu. I swing 6 at life, draw a card with my leader's effect. Let's see what he does. I'm not sure. I think he maybe... he 2K'd out. Excuse me, he 2K countered out. Now swing 5 at life. He uses up an Ohm. And he knows he's in a little bit of trouble here, right? He is in a tiny bit of trouble. Swing 7, uses his blocker. I'm going to Backlight here to pop his 5 cost tapped character. So Backlight can tap a 5 cost or KO a already tapped 5 cost or arrested 5 cost, whatever. Okay, he pops one of my Usops there with his Yamato and gains a life, I believe. And then swings 6 at my life. I take it. I take this one too, and I'm like, okay, I have to go for game this turn. That's all that's going through my head. So, okay, 2K counter out, and here we go. You know, here's what Uta does best. She just sneaks up on her opponent. So let's see. So, right now I'm doing a little bit of math because, like I said, this is my first time playing this deck, and I'm like, all right, let me make sure I have enough to do a double attack with I'm Invincible. And what I want to do here is I think I want to swing 6 and then all 7s. Okay, swing 7. He did not get a beige. And typically speaking, everyone kind of knows by now, as long as they don't get a beige out of life, then I'm fine on Uta. So swing 7. They take it. So I swing 7 more with this guy before, you know, I don't want him to know I have a second I'm Invincible, potentially. I don't know. I just knew, I knew the game was in the bag when there was no beige from life. So that was that game, and then I actually play against the guy, whoops, that was the same game. Then I play against the guy one more time. You know, sometimes people ask for rematches on here. Sometimes I take rematches, sometimes I don't. It really just depends, and I feel like this is a pretty fair matchup, Enel versus Uta, especially with me running the $50 or $60 budget version of the deck. Because notice I didn't have any Eustace Kids that last game. You know, and this is OP06 legalized, or no, maybe it's OP05. I can't remember now because they just changed the sim. Whatever the case is, this should be legal. This deck should be legal. It's not running any of the EB01 or OP06 stuff that I'm aware of. And y'all help me out down in the comment section below if I missed anything. So let me make sure we're on 2x speed, and we're not. There we go. Now we are. So again, I'm trying to draw a card with my Uta every single turn. I want to draw a card every single turn with my Uta if possible. Like if I whiff, I whiff. It is what it is. But that turn I got the Jinbei. He pops it with a Gadatsu. I draw another card. Again, look, I'm at like 11 cards here. So I play out a Brook, which plays out a 3 cost or less, I think, Film or Straw Hat character. And I'm just trying to fill up the board. So he swings 7. This was not a great start for me. But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I need to make it like, I think I need to make it like 2 more turns. If I can make it 2 more turns, I win this game. That's what's going through my head right now. Okay, swing 6. I'm like, okay, he just took that. I expected him to counter out a little bit so that I could swing all these in. But he takes it. Okay, and then I play out. I don't swing my Usopp because I got a counter from hand. I was going to try to get him to, you know, use a cycle and swing one more time to get another card out of hand. But it's like, okay. So at this point, my game plan is literally to get him to overextend into me, where I can lock down his board with my 10-cost Doflamingo. And then, you know, I'm good. Okay, and I'm like, oh gosh, he gets 8 there. I'm like, I really need to just, I think I might 2K counter out of this with Luffy. Yeah, Luffy 2K counter, say go, and now it's my opponent's. It's, you know, still my opponent's turn. I think he has 7 Dawn active, so I'm like, has he got another Enel? Because that's not good. If he has another Enel, that's not good. But it looks like, so when I saw him attach Dawn to Gadatsu, I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to swing with Shura. And I think that is what he ends up doing. And I'm like, okay, so that's also not good, right? And right here, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to force him to invest into the Shura here, because I can easily take out the Shura with a leader attack or with whatever attack. And then I'm going to drop down a 10-cost, what's his name? A 10-cost Dofi next turn. Okay, so I don't know what he drew, unfortunately. I can't remember, and I don't know if I even read it. He does a 200 million Voltamaru to tap down my guy, smashes into my Usopp. And now, like I said, I'm in a position now where I can basically win the game. I could have potentially won this turn, but the safer play here was just to eat up the Shura, like I do right there, drop down my 10 cost, and now lock down his whole board. And I already have a 7 cost blocker, 1 life left, and about, what is that, 2K counter in hand with 1 life, like I said. So he's forced with trying to fill the board back up. He's like, oh crap, you know, now I'm screwed. And it's like, yep, you sure are. Because now I'm going to swing 7. Like, okay, let me pause real quick and tell you what I was going to do. I was going to swing 7 with my Uta first, in case he got a beige trigger from his life. Because that would kind of make him want to put the counter on someone else, not my Uta. Now, he still might have chose to do Uta, but if he chose to do Uta, well, now I can invest all the rest of my Dawn for the turn into bigger attacks across my board. So again, in this situation, assuming there's no Uta, or excuse me, assuming there's no beige trigger, it was going to be swing 7 with my leader. I think swing 7 with Usopp, right? Because 2, and then I had 3, 6. Yeah. So it was going to be swing, or no. What it probably should have been was 7 with Uta, 6 with Usopp, 6 with Brook, 7 with Uta, 10 with Dofi, 7 with Uta, then 7 with Luffy, if it came down to that, because I had the 2 I'm Invincibles. All right. Well, anyway, that's it, guys. That's it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me pop back out and go to the actual picture itself here. This was the list I was running in the last 2 games versus that random Enel player. This is just straight up 2 combined versions of the starter deck, which are going for about $20 each right now on TCG Player, and hopefully locally they'll be a little bit cheaper than that if you can find them. And I had Apu in here, but I didn't realize Apu's kind of expensive right now. I think it's like $3 a card. But for Carrot, which is just it's like a 25 cent 2K counter, that's all you need here. Because, you know, the Apu wasn't searchable. It wasn't film searchable. I just had it in there because I just randomly clicked it. And this is the deck that I was running for the first games. Well, all right, guys, that's about it. Hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all got any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. Any tips, anything that I might have missed, or something you want to add, by all means, add it down there. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.